So, it's a bit of a crap day today. A little bit rainy, a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind. It's a wee bit crap. Except for one thing. I'm at Brickhouse Guitars.
Guitar stuff with John.
Whoa. So, here we are back again. Everything changes ever so slightly every time you walk in here. I've been telling you for a long time about this shop. And there's a reason why I keep telling everybody to come here. Roger is starting to accumulate one of the coolest collections of handmade and boutique guitars that you can find anywheres in Canada. He has Avenir's, he has SGI, he has Ho Zen, he has Maestro, he has Boucher, Pellerin. Just incredible instruments. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. Some of these guitars, this is the only place you're going to be able to find them. And believe me, when you hear some of these and see them close up, you're going to want one. A couple of Larave's there in the corner. Taylor's. Just a small smattering. I love the old building. I love this place. There's our little accessory wall. And the dreaded spiral staircase of death, where
it comes down.
Everything happens up there that you don't want to know about. Very cool. And then there's another room. Yet another room. Ooh. Here we have all the Firks. As you know, Roger's the person who brought Firk to North America. Beautiful guitars. Our pick station. Pick up station. Out here we have some of the one-offs. Art and Lutherie, Seagull, Godin, a few electrics. There's a nice Norman. It's a B40, I think, or a 50, 40 maybe. But the best thing about this place is the sheer variety of instruments. Look at the neck of this thing. Ooh. That is a Ho Zen, of course. A Maestro guitar. It's the sheer volume of guitars you can't see anywhere else. It's just breathtaking. So we're gonna get Roger in here and get him to tell us about what's happening these days. There's some really exciting things going on here. All right, let's find Roger. And I found a Roger Schmidt.
Hey everyone.
How you doing, Roger?
I am doing just fine.
Wicked.
It's so awesome to have you here, as always.
We've got 2 days to spend together,
I
don't we?
know, right?
It's amazing.
So, wow. And we have Pauline here too. She's
Hi, Pauline.
huge help.
She's such a nice lady, and she takes care of all of us.
She
Amazing,
does.
yes.
Yes.
So we were starting. I just wanted to let you have fun
Okay.
in here and talk about everything that's going on. So I started us off in the FERC room because this is the name that you've been longest associated with.
It's true. Yes.
And maybe tell us a bit about, what's happening in here and,
Yeah.
all of those things.
Well, the FERC is a very long story for us. Since 2005, actually.
Yep.
I still have the very first one that I brought in as a sample. I played that one for years as my personal guitar. And so we have a long history, and their instruments just keep getting better and better and better.
Yep.
They are streamlining the company with very high-tech engineering. And so, in my opinion, they have become the world's #1 builder of production instruments that surpass what really any other production company I can think of can do. Not to poo-poo any of the other larger production companies out there, but FERC have found a way to incorporate their old world traditional, parts of building into, alongside of the technology. So they still have some pretty cool ways of calibrating and measuring the top deflection tests as they're building. That includes sonic testing. So there's a certain degree of measuring that they do individually on their instruments.
Right.
And their fit and finish, geez, when you look at something like this, it's just, they're all just tremendous. Like every single detail is perfection.
Wow, I like the side markers on
Isn't
that.
that something? Look at the lines here.
Yeah.
The fit around, this is one of the areas where I can quickly tell a pro shop from a non-pro shop.
Exactly.
Right?
It's the first place you look.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Right. And they sound, just really beyond what they should sound like for their price point for a production guitar.
Nice. Saying that a long time about you is that you are a tastemaker.
Thank you.
And it's hard. It's difficult. People probably don't realize how difficult it actually is to break a basically unknown name into an established market that's controlled by Martin, Gibbs, and Taylor.
Absolutely. It's
Right.
almost, actually it's impossible.
Yeah.
You can break in small segments. I don't believe there's room anymore on the boat. The ship has sailed, right? And the passengers are all on board. But that doesn't mean there's not room for smaller builders. And that's kind of how our business is now evolving. We're moving, I still consider production, but we're moving our business more towards the even smaller builders and the more boutique builders and the builders that can really spend extra time on every single guitar individually and also put a bit of their personal self into every guitar.
Right on.
So that's kind of where we're headed.
I know you put all these on the bench and make sure they're done properly.
I know. It's like I just pulled this little guy off here. And if you were to put that in your hands, you would feel like, whoa, that feels like a, like maybe that could be a Waterloo for $3,000.
I know.
It won't sound like that, by the way, but this is a $300 guitar.
Yeah, they're really nice. I use one of these for a high string in my studio.
But we set it up so that it's just perfect. And,
It sounds great.
So
They do have a really cool retro old sound,
I wish they came in this
which
way.
I love.
They don't. And so as my time gets more and more pulled in the direction of the boutique instruments, I'm going to have some decisions to make.
Yeah, exactly.
How much time do I have in a day?
Yeah.
Right. And it's certainly, I've always been, me, I've always been about guitars for everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're covering that later.
Yes.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Let's move over there, because that's one of the most important parts of the story that's happening here now. As a lot of you know from the reviews that I've done of some of the instruments from the shop here, Roger has really made some incredible decisions and design decisions and business decisions to put instruments like these in your hand at an incredible price. So tell me the story of the Bridgeport.
So So Bridgeport starts with SGI, Stonebridge Guitars International.
Right.
When the name brand of FERC transitioned, we were asked and agreed not to continue manufacturing guitars with the Stonebridge name on it to avoid
Right.
confusion.
Right.
But we own a company called Stonebridge Guitars International.
Right.
And we were certainly not interested in taking 12 years and just going, okay, we won't do that anymore.
Right.
So we started a collection of instruments, and our mission was exactly what we just talked about a minute ago. We wanted to build guitars for every level of player.
Right.
Primarily focusing on the fingerstyle world because that's where my strength is, right?
Definitely. Your new album's awesome, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
If you guys can find it, is it online yet?
Yeah, I got a copy here I could show, but it's online, all the streaming, Apple Music.
It's
and
really,
Spotify.
if you want to hear something, what's the name of the album?
It's called Roger Schmidt, and then an acoustic palette.
Right.
Yeah.
You can check it out because it's wicked.
Yeah, all original music.
It's amazing.
It's a collection of music from, spans 20 years to present day.
So here's something you got to remember, guys. The reason that we love Roger so much, it isn't just about this, it's because he's such a great player too. So he understands a lot about guitar players because he is one, and that makes him, I think, incredibly unique in the retail world, because it's just not something you see every day, where you go into a shop and you talk to a world-class guitar player about buying a guitar. He can tell you, right? So.
Yeah, I have a hard time selling something I don't like.
Right, me too.
That's just an honest assessment. So.
And I should also interject, I hope that you don't mind me saying it too, is that the beautiful thing about the dissolution between you and FERC left SGI now as a big blanket company where you can, it's your playground.
That's right.
And that's the best place you could have been, right?
It's true. So
Yeah.
there's bittersweet, but in the end,
Look what you're doing with it now.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
So, we're pretty excited about.
So tell us about this.
So this is where the SGI collection starts.
I played this yesterday. I love this thing.
Yeah, this is our latest edition. The sound port for us is very important for fingerstyle because, you want to have proper position. You don't want to be leaning over your guitar, and it's important to hear what you're playing.
Salted maple rosette. I love that.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous. Look at the inside of that thing. Clean as a whistle. It's an amazing build.
All the appointments, like the purflings, the bindings,
Does this have your reverse kerfing?
Not this level,
Okay.
though. Yeah, the next level up.
Okay, cool.
This is walnut binding, though. There's no plastic on the guitar. And it's a dovetail neck joint and bone nut and saddle. And it comes with our SGI pickup. Listen to that sound. I mean, it's just powerhouse.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The spacing goes from 45 all the way up to 58. So it's a pretty wide spacing, still comfortable, but it is designed for fingerstyle players.
And it's a cannon.
It really is
It's
a cannon.
really loud
I mean,
and fat.
listen to the bass on that. This has the NS3 pickup, SGI pickup, which we can talk about later.
Well, I've been screaming about that for 2 years.
And comes with a Featherlight case.
Yep.
For $749.
That's ridiculous.
Right?
What?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. We may have to bump it up to $799.
Oh, big D. That's really gonna
But
hurt.
that's the price point we're looking at.
So $800, you have a world-class fingerstyle guitar. Right?
Well, you have something that you can approach it seriously with.
Yeah, this is something that you would never sell. If you got this as your first instrument, it would still be in one piece. You'd still be playing it 20 years from now.
I think so, especially if you start playing around with more than one tuning. You leave this one tune standard.
That's right.
And off you go with a different
That's the
guitar.
great thing about guitar right now, and why I love doing GSWJ so much, is because, like, the options now are way, way bigger for beginners and for all players. at a much lower price point than they ever have been in the history of the
Unimaginable.
instrument.
We never thought we could pull that off.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
And you were instrumental, no pun intended, in the design of that guitar.
We were.
Yeah.
It was based on a whim that someone reached out to me from a small manufacturer in China, and I usually just straight to the trash, you know. And somehow a little voice in my head said, I just felt something about what they were sending me, and ordered a sample or two, again on a whim. And we were just like, wow, okay, these guys are like, you know, they're a smaller company looking to work with smaller shops.
And they were open to all the suggestions and designs, or
we got back to them with these measurements,
right?
And they got back to us and said, "I'm sorry, we can't do that. We don't make that style of neck. We don't make those nut widths. We don't." And then we said, "Okay, well, thanks." And
yeah, right.
And that was the end of the story. Like, we moved on, and then a few months later, we got an email back from them and said, "We've been thinking about it, and we could actually do this for you."
It's awesome.
So then we started again, and it took close to 2 years, and we're still honing
And
out
you've moved
details.
hundreds of these so far, haven't you?
Well, of the different ones.
Yes.
This one is just new, so
Yeah,
we
but the Bridgeport line has been doing really
it's
well.
been doing well. Yeah.
that's
So
awesome.
there's the laminate version. This is the all solid version.
This is a beautiful guitar. Is this the one that I had?
You just brought this back.
Yeah, I reviewed this guitar on my channel, and it is a beautiful guitar. It really is
get
something.
that
Look
out.
at the price of this thing. Look at that.
For all solid African.
All solid mahogany. And it's got all the appointments. Like, I love the spalted rosette. And
all over.
oh yeah. We won't edit this out so it can make you look like an arsehole.
Yeah, you see, I play guitar. I just don't know how to do price tags.
There you go. It's almost there. You're like a singer's zone machine.
That's right. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Yeah, cedar top. Look at the
Oh,
mahogany.
the armrest too.
Yes,
The bevel.
Walnut.
Look at that. You guys have all seen this guitar before, but it's here for sale now if you want it. Oh, it's humongous.
It's like the other one, but just even warmer.
Yeah, it's such a nice guitar.
Again, with the pickup and the case included.
Yeah.
So that's the Bridgeport line. It's sort of the gateway drug
Yeah.
into fingerstyle world.
So the next thing we should hit is Maestro. Specifically.
Yes.
Not anything else, just the Maestro guitars,
Yep.
such as this one,
Yep,
which is the OM mate to my Dreadnought.
it is.
And buddy, if you want a killer guitar, that's one sitting there right there. And
So the Maestro line, well, you've been telling your
Exactly.
fans all about it too.
so
But
it's Ho Zen Young that builds all of these guitars.
correct.
And this is his Maestro company guitars. That is
Actually, this is now a red label. We lied.
It is. Oh, it's a
Yeah.
Ho Zen now.
Yeah, this is a
So,
whole.
so basically what happened is Ho Zen has had so much success around the world and so much luck with Roger too, that he's now building under his own name. So Maestro is getting phased out.
Yeah, so there's still inventory probably for the next year at least.
Yep. So you should
And
get
good-
one.
good
Those are
prices.
collect. The prices will drop.
The prices are increasing somewhat on the Hosen,
Yeah.
just because of post-COVID costs.
Yep.
But the Maestros we still have stock and we can still bring in some inventory.
Right.
But that is transitioning to his name.
Right. So
Because
those guitars.
that was part of our encouragement. We knew he was thinking about it, but right away we saying, Hosen, like, this is something you need to do because
Yeah.
you've spent, 15 years now honing your craft. You paid your dues. You've learned how to really master what you're doing. It's time you put your name on the instruments.
And also, those instruments now can be considered collector's items.
That's true.
Because they're not going to be made anymore. And I'm glad I have two of them.
Right.
I have two Maestros. I'll never part with them. And you've seen them on here, reviewed on the channel. They're just amazing guitars.
Here's a very similar one.
There's one here.
An actual Maestro.
There's another. This is yes.
Okay. Go back to
So this would be the generation just before,
Yeah.
when it was still a Maestro.
And this has Sitka spruce top with Adirondack bracing,
Yeah.
reverse kerfing, hide glue construction,
Look at that.
Maple
Curve is
binding.
backwards.
And the thing is, all of Ho Zen's guitars are done by hand.
Yes.
This is a handmade shop, like literally in the true sense.
Yeah.
They almost have no CNC tooling.
It's just like the shop in Hamamatsu for Yamaha.
Yeah.
There's 13 guys building guitars. Look at the grain of that wood.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he buys his wood well in advance. He won't
Yeah.
touch a piece of wood for at least 2 years in his shop. Like, so it's already comes to him dried, but
Yeah.
he won't touch it for at least 2 years. Has to acclimatize to his shop, and listen to how that
Good
music
Lord.
makes.
Yeah, I was just thinking to myself, and I hate to say this, but I always do, is that if you went to Martin, let's say, to buy a guitar that was like this one, amber tone, rosewood, maple bound, blah blah blah, you pay $8,000. You would easily.
Yeah. And I'm not sure
it wouldn't be this good.
No.
I know they wouldn't. I've seen them.
See, the thing is,
for $3,800, you're getting an heirloom quality instrument that's just unbelievable. And
every one is Ho Zen's signature sound because it was done with his hand. That voicing that's the master chef in the kitchen, right?
Yep.
And he's got his team. He's not prepping the salad, but he's got his finger in the salad dressing. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. He's there and he's hand tuning every single instrument, making sure that it's the Ho Zen sound, right?
Yes, and here's something else I need to mention too as a player and as an owner of these guitars. This particular series that he built, that is really a trad type of a series, all of them have this really controlled, almost self-compressed vintage sound. Like the notes come out really trim and prim and proper.
Yes.
And they're dark and woody, and every one of these guitars in this series sounds like that.
Yeah, no, you've got that...
Like it already sounds old.
Yeah, you
know
can.
What I mean?
His body.
Yeah. It's incredible.
The other thing is when you push, it goes.
It goes. Yeah, right. It's loud. Holy God.
Most guitars wouldn't even do half of that.
I know.
And I could pull out some production guitars that I have here on consignment that are $2,000 more. They wouldn't come, and I won't do it because it would not be a nice, fun thing to do publicly. If you were here, I'd do it for you.
But it is true.
It's crazy to hear the difference.
The man is a master builder. He's I've always as soon as I saw and played his guitars, I said that he was one of the Trinity. Robin and Dave Mathis and him.
So, you know, what got us, me being a fingerstyle guy, this is the kind of stuff, the Maestro line, that his original series, that caused us to, and then we'll talk about that.
Look at this thing. I almost bought this guitar. This is so nice. And it's an absolute cannon. And what's the price on this? Look at that.
$35, $39.
It's even less than the OM.
Yeah.
And look at this thing.
Yeah. It's bevel, abalone shell, Adirondack top, sound port.
And this is
Pacific Koa.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the grain in that guitar.
Yeah.
And it's bound in Koa too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Regular Koa. Yeah. Good Lord.
So, all high glue construction.
Yeah.
And look at how beautiful, round and smooth and.
It's unbelievable. Look at the hand, even the nut is hand shaped.
been exceptional.
Wicked.
Still ringing.
All right, on to the next Ho Zen guitar, which is very special because this is the brand that Roger used to build his relationship with Mr. Young. And these, of course, are the Avenires, which you've seen on my channel as well, which are incredible fingerstyle guitars. I think they do everything well. I know they did everything well for me. There's a fan fret right there. But tell me now, so this is like the very heart of your friendship with Ho Zen.
This is, yeah, when we met and we had mutually heard about each other, we connected immediately and loved the Maestro guitars. One of the things that was a bit of an issue for us, for a lot of our customers and for our personal and my personal taste, were string spacing and neck-width. So Ho Zen's guitars all go start at 44 millimeters and go to 56.
Yeah.
This is our bass line in the Avenir, which they all start at 45 and then go extra wide here all the way to 60 millimeter.
Nice.
So that's a nice string spacing, again, for the fingerstyle players. This particular model is called the 15. There's a mahogany version that's slightly less as well, but it's all solid wood. This is Wenge. You never see Wenge at this price. It's kind of crazy.
He does one of the nicest open pore finishes I've ever seen.
This is nitro.
Look at that.
Nitro lacquer.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I love that open pore finish. Like that lets a guitar age and breathe really well. And
it's tremendous for sound because it's, so that's just powerful again. Look at the depth of bass on that, right?
I know, it's huge.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's like a big grand piano. This is why I hang around Roger. He's got the best chords.
I can show you a few, but you can show me more.
I bet you not.
But yeah, no. So that's
the base model.
That's right. This one was all about.
Look at this. Look at that price. Look at the price. That's stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid for that guitar to be that much money.
I've literally played hundreds of guitars in my life that are 3 times
at least
that price that don't
even come close to that.
Yeah, this is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
To the point I don't believe we can get them anymore at this price.
Yeah.
They'll be more in the mid 2 range.
But that's still amazing.
I have at least a dozen left in our initial inventory.
I would be running to get these, folks, if you can.
If someone can, do yourself a favor. These are amazing. If you don't need the cutaway,
you know what else?
All the fancy.
You know what else? These guitars I know are really good for is Celtic flat picking.
Absolutely.
Celtic players or backing up a fiddler.
Oh, absolutely. Man. Yeah. This would have the power, range.
Yeah, it has all the bass you need. It's very articulate.
And so the line goes with we have the traditional as well, but this is like the meat and potatoes of the line. We have fan fret or non-fan fret versions of these instruments. This again is Wenge with Engelmann.
And that's a full nitro full finish?
This is the full polyurethane.
Oh, it's a poly,
Yeah. It's hand buffed,
but it's really thin.
Oh,
really,
very
really
thin and hand polished.
Yeah, because you can still see some of the open pore even with the poly.
Yeah,
right?
and
that's really cool.
So high glue, reverse curving.
Oh,
And then this is just, the bass range.
There's your SGI badge. Avenir.
Sings.
It's a very controlled bottom end. all made.
And it's
like
perfectly positioned.
Nicely done.
Yeah, these are.
So
incredible.
imagine by the time in the timeline, when you started to get these, you started to get pretty excited
Yes.
about working with him, right?
Oh yeah, no, it was like match made in heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had kind of almost given up. Like, what are you gonna find? You know, because in this price range, it's all production.
Yeah.
Right? And you know, and I don't know any other builder. Well, it just doesn't exist. You know, Ho Zen spends 6 months of the year, if not more, working with his team. There are 9 people right now that work with him, luthiers that are trained, and they've all sort of found their way, their spot within the team, and become really good at all, you know, the individual tasks they do.
Yeah.
But he is there working with them. You know, he goes there several times a year, and he's doing all the tuning.
Right.
And so the fact
We should
that
talk about that too. He was taught by,
Irvin Samoji.
yes, who's the god of tuning
He's the
tops,
godfather,
right?
yeah. He of this type.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, like the modern responsive instruments. He's got a book I could show you. I have it here. That's 300 pages about how to build responsive guitars. Irvin's guitars go for 50 grand US right now.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so he's considered like the ultimate master. Ho Zen and he are good friends. They've remained good friends, and so he learned from Irvin that whole approach to individually voicing responsive guitars. Right?
Right.
Other builders we can get to later, you know, like Michel Pellerin. They also studied with Irvin. Mario Beauregard. There's a whole list of the best luthiers on the planet.
Yeah,
Went
I
to
think
him.
even Laskin credits him with something.
He might be. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They grew up in the same era.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's move on to the next stage, which is for me is the most exciting because it's
it is Ho Zen, right?
It's become kind of nuts now. So now we have Ho Zen branching out on his own. I'm sure
this is Ho Zen that can't help himself.
Yep. But I'm gonna say something about these. I know how you feel about this, but I'm gonna say something after.
This is petrified wood.
This. Dyed petrified wood as an inlay.
Yeah, over Madagascar rosewood back and sides, maple bevel on the back.
Bevel. Look at that.
More petrified inlay.
Unreal.
The wood is just exceptional.
It's ridiculous.
And then
Look at that.
This is all inlaid by hand. No trickery there. That's
no.
Every single piece is inlaid by hand.
Ivory pegs, ivory pegs, but they're probably the pegs I've seen of his are amazing. They're very good.
So this is
lots of fret markers on this.
Yeah.
Is it more inlaid?
Petrified.
And there's the new Ho Zen logo,
The H,
which is just an H across the headstock.
Yeah. Goto 510s.
Yep. Ebony
Beautiful.
buttons. And look at so now this is what he calls, this is the blue label.
That's right.
Which is the highest expression of what he does.
Exactly.
This is number 91. Like, it's unbelievable. So
this is his team and him. Like, he designs every single aspect of the visual and the rosette. That's all his design. And every guitar in the Blue Label series is one of a kind.
that's right.
He'll make some similar, but every single one, because of the nature, is basically a custom guitar.
Exactly.
But built for him, kind of himself.
Yeah.
So it's like an artist painting what he feels like painting.
Right.
And which is the best way for an artist to paint.
And this is an incredible opportunity for guitar lovers to own something.
Yeah. The thing is, when you do commissions, you know, it's great, it brings money in, but you have to respect what the customer wants, and that's usually based on something they've already seen.
Mm-hmm.
This is based on something he's only seen in his mind.
Yes.
Every single one he creates, one at a time for himself, for his own sensibilities of creation.
And this guitar is priced where it should be for what it is. It's $10,000.
Well, it should be priced quite a bit more.
Yeah,
but it's
but
not.
I mean,
but yes.
if you were to, you couldn't get this kind of guitar from Collings or Bourgeois for $10,000. You'd be paying $20 at least.
Like, we're going to get this in front of my mics upstairs.
The level of artisanship that goes into instruments in general. The Asian companies that are doing this, the builders, especially the single builders, they're going way beyond and above
Yeah.
what North American builders charge, right?
Yeah. So this has double sides.
Yep.
It has solid lining, so if you see inside there, there's no curving. Those are made, that takes a long time to build. I don't know if you can catch that or not.
I can, look at that.
Yeah.
There's no kerfing at all.
Yeah. See, it's solid. Right
Wow.
here. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that makes like a snare drum rim.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Super, super stiff, which causes the top and back to vibrate, and you can tune them to work in tandem.
Yep.
The bracing is double X brace lattice, which is Urban Shimoji design.
Yep.
And of course, hand tuned, right? So.
And I'm taking this guitar out on loan
Yeah.
after this to review it and play with it, tour with it a bit, see what it can do.
Yeah, this is.
But I'll tell you, it's amazing. I've been playing it for, oh, Jesus.
Right?
I know, it's ridiculous.
I mean, that's your iPhone. Wait till you're in front of mics.
Yeah.
It is incredible.
Yeah, when I get this thing back in my studio, you're gonna crap when you hear this guitar.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
So we're proud to have these because it really shows what Ho Zen is capable of doing.
Yeah.
And he understands that this isn't, like there's only a small number per year that he can build of these.
Yeah.
But it's important that he does build that for his own, personal growth.
But you happen to have a small metric crap ton of them here, really.
Yeah, we do.
You got 5 or 6 of them, right?
Which is pretty exceptional.
Because, I mean, look at this. Look at these over here. Same. This is another blue label here, which is also an absolute cannon. I was playing it yesterday. This is number 64. And look at that. Look at that headstock. And the price on this is even less than the other. Almost $2,000 less.
Look at the back of this one. This is sinker cedar on the top, reclaimed cedar.
Whoa.
Okay. This is like my guitar. I love this one. Look at this.
Oh.
That is probably
Hell
the most
damn.
magical piece of figured walnut I've ever seen. Look how that changes as I move it in the light.
It's unbelievable.
It's magical. Like.
And the price on this is even less.
Not quite.
Oh, it's a 200. It's the same. About the same ballpark. Yeah.
83.
But I mean, these are guitars that just
Oh goodness.
scream. Listen, just me talking, it's ringing.
Crazy, right?
Unbelievable.
I
And
mean,
the
that-
price tag is crazy too.
10 years ago, I would have died and gone to heaven to own
Yeah.
a guitar like this.
So this is the black label, the level below the blues.
Yeah, and I got goosebumps. Look,
I know. Me too. It's like it's freezing me to death just listening to it.
Right? Like, geez, well, I get goosebumps not because of just how beautifully musical the instrument is, but like that's music to my ears.
I know, it's crazy.
This allows a serious musician to have a serious high-level instrument to get them to any level of playing, and especially if you're a composer where you're relying on your instrument, right? Not everybody can be a Mozart and write a symphony in their dreams, right?
Yeah.
I personally paint my songs the same way. I take a paintbrush. I have to hear and play something and go, wow, that's beautiful, or it's not beautiful.
Yeah.
and I create that way. And so without the instrument, I'm kind of helpless, right? It's a dance partner, and when you have just this high level dance partner to dance with, all of a sudden you're inspired and you start doing things you never imagined you could do.
Right.
And that's why I encourage people that are serious about learning to get a good guitar.
Yeah.
It's not where you're now, it's where it can help you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a journey, right? So to me, this is the ultimate guitar for going down that journey of serious
Look at the back of
guitar
it.
playing. Yeah.
Man, oh man.
And you talk about, how he's progressing. Look at the finish on this. That is as thin as the Maestro.
Yeah, he's gone full on,
but now
complete coverage.
So they're just getting better and better. And
Yeah, he's gone traditional, tiny thin poly finish, right?
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So fit and finish. I've been really harping him on that. I said, I don't care how many inlays you put in, they're beautiful, but every joint, focus on making them perfect, and I know they're by hand, and I know you can't do what high level, sophisticated digital technology can do, but
It's pretty damn close.
it is pretty damn
Pretty damn.
close.
Look at this. Just look at the joinery there.
Yeah.
It's flawless.
Yeah. This has a Manzer wedge, by the way, and that's tricky
Oh yeah.
to do.
Oh, look at this.
So
So it's
look at
thinner
the depth
at the
difference.
top, bigger at the bottom.
Yeah. So you have the bevel and the wedge. So when you're playing this guitar, it feels almost like you're playing an OM size guitar.
Yeah.
But you've got all the depth and the bass response of a larger grand auditorium.
Yeah, incredible.
So these all come with the wedge. Every single one of these series come with the wedge.
The black
And
series?
that's Linda Manzer who created that. He gives
Yes.
her complete.
This is the
credit
black
for that.
series. All have the wedge.
Yeah, and
Sweet.
blue as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
unless
cool.
you order otherwise.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah, he credits Linda Manzer for, he didn't invent that. That was our own Canadian Luther, Linda Manzer, that invented
I love
that.
Linda. She's a fantastic
Jeez,
luthier.
yeah, I know.
She's one of my heroes.
So, but goodness, all hide glue construction, reverse curving, on and on, right? So you have sound, individual voicing, you have the ergonomics. It's just this perfect combination for what you would want in a serious instrument.
Yeah.
And we are working with Ho Zen now to streamline. This is my bone we've been picking with him too. He still thinks a lot this way, right? So he gets
Yep.
up in the morning and goes, that's a creative brain. Oh, I think I'll make this guitar this way,
Yeah.
right? And so we keep getting these beautiful guitars in, and then we get the next one and they're different. Oh yeah, I put a different rosette in. Oh, I put a different binding. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Right? It is cool, but for this level here, what we're going to do, and we're working with him, is to introduce a line, a collection that are built to, specs that we just, collectively together, we decide, this would be an example. We would be introducing this as part of a line.
Yes.
And
I really wanted to mention that earlier because this is all the case of a really talented artist who's basically feeling his wild oats, right?
Yes.
He's doing all the things he can shove out of his head and doing them incredibly well. And you're going to help him. I know, because I know you, that you're going to help him create lines. And he's still going to be able to do these, but I think in the long run, if he goes with the lines, he's going to end up being able to charge even more money for these one-offs because they will become really special.
right.
As it is now, if you buy one of these, it's a one-off, which makes it special. But I mean, imagine if you had 2 or 3 lines, and then every 6 or 8 months, it's like, ooh, this is from the brain of Ho Zen, right?
That's right.
And that's the way to get people's attention. And I think that the price points are so good on these guitars that, I mean, it just draws you in, draws me in, because I remember these guitars like this, and you do too, seeing guitars like this 25, 30 years ago, and they were 10,000 then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Because nobody built like this.
No.
Right? You had Grit, you had Linda Manzer, you had Beneteau, you had Larrivee to some extent.
Yeah, and
even
those
John
guys
and his
didn't
wife,
even, like, they were all pushed by a growing body of fingerstyle players.
Yeah.
Right? Like, back in the 70s, you didn't really have modern fingerstyle players. You had
Michael Hedges.
Well, that was 80s.
Exactly.
Right? And so before that, like, well, when does, sorry, my brain going, the 12-string player, Leo Kottke.
Yeah.
So he goes back, right?
Yeah.
But that, and then John Renborn, those kind of guys, right? They started this movement where you kind of approached fingerstyle almost, similar to classical playing, right?
Yeah.
And as that movement started, luthiers started realizing we need to start building guitars that rise to the level of these virtuoso players.
Yep.
Right? And so that's what's happened is the players have grown up and the builders have moved with the likes of Irvin Samoji, really rethinking that, the traditional Woody Martin sound isn't what these players need, right? There's a lot of room in the world for traditional American style guitars, but that's just a different sound, right? And so for concert sounding guitars, they had to really rethink, and of course, Irvin Samoji, and then the likes of our Canadian builders. Larrivee was one of the pioneers and he's,
Our buddy just right over here, also represented in the shop.
And all of the great builders like Linda came out of his shop.
That's right. He was the granddaddy.
So people talk about the golden age of guitar building. That might be true, but we've certainly, this didn't exist 25 years ago.
No, and I think it's yet to come.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that we're going to start to be able to get instruments like this for even less money. And then when you see the things like that one, you're going to be looking at a $10,000 or $15,000 price tag, but you're also going to be looking at the established North American builders charging 3 times as much still.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's the magic of all this, right?
Yeah, I think, more and more even single bill luthiers are incorporating technology, because technology you can own your own CNC machine for under $2,000 now for a lot of, or lasers even for that. So, I think, yes, guitars will get even more and more spectacular, and people, just like AI, can change. I think we will see that, but also we will see more and more builders learning how, it's what I call the mastering portion of a recording.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you can go into the world's best studio and get perfect takes and have edit and have your recording ready to go.
Yeah.
But it doesn't become something magical until you put it in the hands of a true mastering engineer.
Right.
And that mastering engineer has all the tools and has all the technology, but what makes the difference is his ear.
Yep.
And his artistic sensibility. It's about what that project needs, right? And so that's the thing about guitar building, is when you have a master who's taken 20 years to train their ear and also be able to hear it. I mean, look at our buddy Dave, right? As an example, he can hear stuff
Crazy.
that I can't hear.
I know.
Right? So no matter how hard I practice and take the course, my ears won't go there.
No.
And so there's a few. Robin's another example.
Oh, God.
He can hear.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And he bases all his decisions on what he hears.
That's right.
Right? So no amount of technology is going to get him out of the woods. It's his ears, right? And that's the same with Ho Zen and some of these smaller builders, right? And having the privilege to work with people that have that ear and that passion, right, is to me what gets me excited and gives me goosebumps.
Well, I'll tell you what. I know that everybody that watches my channel really loves you and loves this shop. I get a lot of comments, and you know yourself that You get hundreds of people calling here all the time talking about.
And they can't shut up about you.
Yeah, they know. And every time that's why I never get tired of doing this. Every time I come here, I try to make a video here, because
we so appreciate it.
Well, because it's always evolving, and that's all on you.
Thank
You have that way about you that you're like me. I will never stop learning,
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
And you're the same way by the decisions you're making about what you're selling here and who you're working with. This shop and yourself as a purveyor, you're evolving.
Right. Absolutely.
And you always have been since the day I met you 25 years ago. The first time I ever bought anything from you was, a Stonebridge mandolin.
Mandolin, right?
And from that one thing, and then getting you and David together, and then on it goes. It's incredible how far you've come in 2 decades. With not only what you have hanging on these walls today, but what you've always had hanging here, which was instruments that you love and that you trust to give people that come in here that are looking to trust you as a player, right?
I was at a guitar festival in Quebec in l'Assomption put on by Antoine Dufour a couple of weeks ago, and I had the honor of opening up, and Andy McKee and Trevor Gordon Hall, and I just was so touched, because I got thinking, like, wow, how many guitarists here, like Callum Graham, Antoine Dufour, Trevor Gordon Hall, they all started out their career on a Stonebridge guitar.
Right.
And so it was like old friends, right? And I said, like, we started out together. You were just kids.
Yeah.
Callum Graham, I sold him his first Stonebridge when he was 17 years old.
There you go.
Right?
How many people have you affected, right?
Yeah, it's just so cool to think about
It's
that.
the same thing. It's the same reason I do this channel.
Yeah.
Because you don't have any clue who you're touching. There's somebody, in one of the 34 countries we're in, and some guy sees something and goes, man, I'm going that way. And then you've suddenly affected somebody's life, right? And then hopefully it's always for the better, and that they make a choice and they go, and it works for them, and they get a new guitar, they try a new tune, or they meet a new, you know what I mean? So it's a big responsibility, but also a great joy. When I come in this room, every time I come in here, it's so much fun just to see the light. Your eyes sparkle when you look at this stuff. Your eyes get all sparkly and you get all excited, and I'm the same way. I'm literally like a couple of kids in a candy store in this place. So anyhow, I want to thank you. As always, you're the man.
Hey,
you are the
likewise,
man.
my friend. Wow.
And,
so honored to have you here, and so honored to call you a good friend, and that which you are indeed. So thank you.
You're welcome. We'll see you again soon.
All right. Cheers.
So there was my buddy Roger Schmidt and Brickhouse Guitars in Kitchener, Ontario, brickhouseguitars.com. And Roger's one of the finest men in this business. There's just nobody like him. And a matter of fact, to be quite honest with you guys, I didn't really count on this video turning out the way it did, but Roger felt like talking and felt like playing, and thank God he did, because it was a great visit, as it always is. And if you're looking for unique instruments that you can't find anywhere else in North America, just virtually, I don't even know where you find half of this stuff, call him. He ships all over the world. He's working with one of the most talented builders I've ever seen. Ho Zen Young is an incredible guitar builder, and it's just a great spot. So don't forget about Roger and Brickhouse, and I'll always be coming back here. I'm sure you will see other videos over the coming years, because I try to come here at least 3 times a year just to see the new stuff and visit with Roger. And Dave Gunning's been playing his guitars for 20 years, so it's awesome. Another one of the family of guitar heads all over the planet that makes this channel possible. So we love you guys, and we'll see you on the next Guitar Stuff with John.